The smell of lemon polish clung to Zoe Johnson's hands as she knelt on the marble floor of the Grand Plaza Hotel lobby. She worked quickly, her wrists aching, her knees raw from hours of scrubbing. Around her, guests in tailored suits drifted past without ever seeing her. At 29, Zoe had learned to live inside that invisibility. To them, she was not Zoe Johnson, linguist, honors graduate of Georgetown, fluent in 6 languages. She was a uniform, a broom, a shadow. Then her phone buzzed. For one terrifying second, she froze. Rule number 1, Manager Richards always hissed, "No phones on duty." But then Zoe saw the number. The University of Amsterdam. Her pulse hammered. After 6 failed scholarship attempts, this call could change everything. She ducked behind a marble column, heart pounding, and whispered, "Zoe Johnson." A man's voice answered, in flawless Dutch. "Professor Van Hayten," he said. Zoe's reply slipped out instinctively, her vowels pure, her tone melodic. Dutch had been her secret refuge for years, studied late into the night in the cramped apartment she shared with 2 nurses. As they spoke, she forgot the mop, the uniform, the watchful eyes. She was herself again, scholar, linguist, human. The silence that fell around her was so heavy she felt it before she saw it. She looked up. Standing just feet away was Richard Coleman, billionaire owner of the hotel empire. He watched her with curiosity, his blue eyes narrowed, calculating. Beside him, Manager Richards burned with fury. "I have to go," Zoe whispered in Dutch, hanging up quickly. "Johnson, my office, now." Richards' voice sliced through the lobby. The basement office was suffocating. A single buzzing light, the smell of bleach, the cold stare of her manager. "You know the rules," Richards snapped. "No phones. And what was that gibberish? French?" "Dutch," Zoe murmured. "I don't care if it was Martian. What I care about is that Mr. Coleman just saw one of my cleaning ladies ignoring her duties to chit-chat in the lobby." Cleaning ladies. Never women. Never individuals. Just an interchangeable mass. "I'm assigning you to the convention center bathrooms. 3 months. No overtime. Maybe there you can practice your Martian." Zoe swallowed hard. She wanted to fight back, to point out how receptionists answered calls freely, how others were forgiven for worse. But she knew the script. Black women were never allowed mistakes. Not here. She left the office with her dignity intact, but her spirit fractured. That night she stared at the framed degree on her peeling wall. 6 years. 6 years scrubbing rooms, swallowing insults, sending resumes that disappeared into silence. For a moment, she wanted to tear it all down. Degree, certificates, hope itself. Instead, she wept quietly. The next morning, a call came from HR. "Mr. Coleman has requested you." Zoe thought she had misheard. The top floor was foreign ground. Executives in crisp suits passed her in the elevator without so much as a glance, their conversations floating with words like merger, portfolio, billions. She felt small, a trespasser. Then the doors opened and suddenly she stood inside an office larger than her apartment. Glass walls, leather chairs, bookshelves lined with contracts and awards. And behind the desk, Richard Coleman himself. "Dutch, French, Italian, Mandarin, correct?" he asked bluntly, holding her file. Zoe blinked. "Yes, sir. You've been cleaning my hotel for 6 years." With this resume, her throat tightened. "I applied 47 times to internal positions. I was denied each time. I filed 12 transfer requests, all rejected by Manager Richards and Director Whitmore." Coleman leaned back slowly, his jaw flexing. For months, he had been investigating why qualified non-white employees were vanishing from his hotels. The numbers didn't lie. "Now, neither did Zoe. I'll be direct," he said. "Tomorrow we host Dutch and Chinese executives. I need someone fluent in both languages. Salary, $5,000 a week. Starting today. Interested?" Zoe's mouth went dry. It was more than she earned in 3 months. "Why me?" she whispered. "Because I heard you yesterday, because you're qualified, and because I suspect something in this company is very, very wrong." That afternoon, Zoe walked through the lobby with a new badge clipped to her blazer. Manager Richards spotted her and froze. "Johnson, where's your uniform?" "International Relations Coordinator," Zoe replied evenly. "Direct requested, Mr. Coleman." Richard's face drained of color. For the first time in 6 years, Zoe savored the sound of her own power. The days that followed revealed everything. Zoe uncovered sloppy Mandarin translations in multi-million-dollar contracts, errors that could have sabotaged negotiations. She corrected them, explaining cultural nuances no machine or amateur could understand. Coleman watched quietly from the doorway. "Whitmore assured me we hired the best," he muttered. "He hired his niece," Zoe said. "She's unqualified. Her mistakes could cost you millions." Coleman didn't respond, but his silence was heavier than anger. By the 4th day, the truth exploded. Payment records, fake certifications, years of nepotism, patterns of discrimination so systematic they were undeniable. Coleman called an emergency board meeting. Executives gathered, the foreign delegates watching curiously from the front row. For years, Coleman announced, this company buried extraordinary talent under prejudice and favoritism. While incompetent relatives were paid inflated sums, people like Dr. Zoe Johnson, "Yes, doctor, we're cleaning our bathrooms." Gasps rippled through the auditorium. Effective immediately, Thomas Whitmore is terminated. Sarah Richards suspended pending investigation. And Dr. Johnson will serve as our new Global Director of Internal Communications. Applause broke like a wave. Cleaning staff in the back cried openly. For the first time, they saw themselves reflected in power. 6 months later, Zoe's office overlooked Manhattan. Her plaque read, Vice President of Diversity and International Relations. Through her Invisible Talents program, she uncovered 147 employees with hidden skills. Many had been locked in housekeeping, laundry, kitchens. Most were Black, Latino immigrants. Now they were promoted, trained, recognized. Translation costs dropped. Profits soared. But more than numbers, Zoe saw lives transform. During a company broadcast, she shared a truth she had carried for years. "My mother worked as a maid in a hotel like this one. She had a degree, but no one ever gave her a chance. She told me, 'Zoe, they may try to make you invisible, but your worth is not defined by them.' She never lived to see this moment. But today, we open the doors she was denied." Across the country, employees watching cried silently. That night, a letter arrived from Amsterdam. An invitation to teach as a visiting professor. The same professor whose call had started it all had followed her rise. Zoe held the letter to her chest. If Richards had given her a simple warning, that day, instead of a punishment, she might still be mopping floors. Instead, she was rewriting an industry, and as she looked out at the city, she realized her greatest victory wasn't seeing her oppressors fall, it was watching the invisible finally rise.